oops, there's my finger. So today we're going to be talking about them, and let's just get into it. So I'm looking at the world's largest philanthropic organizations, and of course, you're all familiar with Bill and Melinda Gates, right up there close to the top at over 50 billion in assets. The Ford Foundation, Robert Wood Johnson, William and Flora Hewlett Foundation, which I did talk about in a video that I did earlier this week. And please watch that. And then Bloomberg, of course, Bloomberg Philanthropies, Rockefeller, Kresge, Duke. Those are the American ones. But they're all global. All these groups are global. But today we're going to talk about Silicon Valley Community Foundation, because a lot of money comes from Silicon Valley, and it's used and directed in ways that we often have no idea, we don't know anything about. We're not supposed to know anything. So let's take a look. This group started in 2007 when two different giving groups merged. They had 1.7 billion in assets at that time. And let's just sort of scroll through here. Let me see here. Okay, let's go to 2008, which is their grant making strategies. And that's what we want to look at for a minute, because they tell you that they're into four major issues, which is economic security, education, immigration, and regional planning. This is all Agenda 21. Okay, so regional planning especially is code for those regional plans that are actually replacing your ability to have an influence on what happens in your town, in your city, and in your government, in your federal, state, and local governments, because they're replacing it with unelected boards and commissions. So that's what regional planning is really code for. So let's take a look. We're going to just do a little more scrolling here. So we know a lot of money is going to go towards that. And of course, they always, they make themselves look good. They want to look as good as possible. So let's see if I can get this thing to go. I already messed it up. Okay, so let's just keep going here. Please bear with me. I'm sorry. Okay, so take a look at this. As the world becomes more interconnected, it will be essential that local communities become more networked, linking individual donors, nonprofit organizations, companies, religious institutions, and government together. So do you see how that works? These are public-private partnerships. They're involving your national religious partnership for the environment, your philanthropic groups, your actual government, into this new entity, which is impenetrable. It's actually, these groups are not they're not transparent to you, the taxpayer, even though a lot of them involve government money and government groups. So what else are we going to see here? Let's go down a little bit further. In 2011, they had their assets were $1 billion in 2011. Today, they're almost $14 billion. This is the Silicon Valley Community Foundation. Today, they have something, I would say it's probably over $14 billion in assets. This website is about 7 years old, about 2 years old, pretty funny for a tech group. So they had given away $1 billion in 2011, and they had about $2 billion in assets. So that means that they were roughly, giving away about half of their assets. So that's not what they're doing now, though. They're stockpiling money now. So Al Gore was a speaker for them. The Silicon Valley Regional Partnership and Silicon Valley Community Foundation work together, and they get funds from the different groups like the Hewletts, the Packards, and we're going to see who else gives them money in a minute. And what else do they do? Of course, they get little holiday trains for kids. What else do they do? Here it is, Common Core. They fund Common Core in the local school districts, 33 local school districts in California in their area. And they're focusing in on Common Core. They're focusing in on moving that into the school districts. What else did they do? Well, here's Plan Bay Area, which we sued, my group sued to stop this plan because it is one of the worst plans in the entire world. It's the most progressive so-called plan in the United States. They call it one of the state's most progressive plans. It's one of the world's most progressive plans. and a lot of it was funded with Silicon Valley money. What they funded was the charrettes, the consultants, the plan books, the manipulation, the media, all of that. And this is what they do. That what they're doing is they're restricting your ability to use your land. They're restricting your ability to build what you want to, what is actually zoned for on your land. They're rezoning, redesignating, and they're redesigning government. This is a redesign of government. So that was what Plan Bay Area was, and that did pass. What it does is it merges 9 counties and 101 cities of the Bay Area, which is amazing when you think about it, because there are like 7 or 8 million people in the Bay Area. Nearly a small handful of people have even heard of this plan, and it affects everyone. So what else is exciting? What else is really exciting is their largest gift. Their largest gift to that date, and I believe up till now, is the Facebook gift. Zuckerberg and his wife donated stock worth nearly $1 billion. Okay, now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about why they do these kinds of things. What are they doing? Because what we're going to see is that even though a lot of that money has been donated, they've got about $14 billion in assets, they've still only given away about $2 billion. So, and maybe we should be happy about that. And I'll tell you how that works. It's a scam. Here's GoPro's Woodman and his wife donated stock worth $500 million to the foundation. And the co-founder of WhatsApp donated stock worth $566 million. So what they do is they take, when these initial public offerings go up, so they want to avoid paying those huge capital gains on their stocks. So they'll donate stock, which actually, may drop in value. And in this case, in Woodman's case, it precipitously dropped in value, but he still gets the same initial public offering first moment value of those stocks, because that's what it was worth when he donated it. So it's kind of a scam. But we should be happy that, maybe we should be happy that they're not giving more away. So here we're going to keep going, and I want you to focus in on the important thing here, which is that they actually fund United Nations Agenda 21. Here's something. Back in 2015, they convened a group of government, health, and nonprofit leaders to discuss Ebola, the Ebola virus crisis. And they had representatives from the State Department and CDC there, too. Interesting, isn't it? All right, let's see what else I want to show you. Let's take a look at them being ranked number 6 among all U.S. charities. And we're coming down to something that's very important here. Silicon Valley is a global community. And anybody who thinks like that or has any connections to it is potentially part of our family wherever they live. Let's turn that upside down and say anybody who doesn't think that way is not part of the community and is a dissenter that we want to shut down, okay? This is how they think. They think globally. Individual nations are irrelevant. Here's something else I want to show you, and that's 2016 Measure AA. We fought really hard against this, but they had packaged it to look really good, because they made it look like, oh, we're just going to restore the San Francisco Bay, and it's only going to cost you $12 a year for each parcel that you own, each property you own. You're going to pay $12. What could be wrong with that? But really what this Measure AA was in 2016 was a way to actually create the regional governance structure and fund it to make 9 counties and 101 cities a single entity. That's a big deal. We lost. We tried to educate people. It was, really difficult. So let's see what else. What's the last thing I want to show you here? And that is that, let me see. Okay, look at that, 2016, and they have only given away 1.3 billion. Okay, you remember 2011 they'd given away $1 billion. Well, here it is 5 years after that, and they've only given away 300,000 more. So I'm not saying that's that I want to see them give away money. Don't get me wrong. What I'm saying is that this is actually a stockpile of money that they have. They have over $14 billion in assets. What are they going to do with that money? So this is the Silicon Valley Community Foundation, And these people are engaged in manipulating you, using their funds in order to dictate how it is that you live, what you do with your life, and how they're going to make United Nations Agenda 21 sustainable development a reality all over the world. This is it. Fight it. Don't give your money to these people. Don't volunteer for groups that you haven't vetted, even if it's your church. Find out, is your church a member of the National Religious Partnership for the Environment? Find out what you're donating to, what you're working for. Are you walking around with a clipboard? Are you donating money? Are you signing petitions? Don't do that until you know exactly who it is that you're giving to. Thanks very much, and stay alert.